We're running out of time. I don't have a time. I only can ask 2 or 3 more questions. I want to talk about you had a fishbone removed in a Chinese hospital in just 30 minutes for 300 RMB. I think this is important. I don't know what it's like in Australia. I've got to assume that whatever medical system you have in Australia, it's better than the United States, because in the United States, we have basically maybe one of the worst medical systems for a wealthy country ever in the world. So, what was your experience in the Chinese hospital? How does that compare to your understanding of what, medical care is like in Australia?
It's just night and day. It's black and white. The difference is so opposite. So we had just moved from Australia, and we had a couple of scenarios where we had to take the kids to the emergency department in the hospital in Brisbane, Australia. And you'd expect, okay, emergency has to be fast, right? Even as a kid, when I was like 10 and I broke a bone in my hand, still you wait 6-7 hours. And I mean, even if you get there at 12 midnight, you're still there till 7 in the morning. It's just crazy. That was probably better than it is now. Nowadays, so recently, a couple of years back, my son fell off his bike and hit his head. My wife took him to the hospital, and she was there 4 or 5 hours and not even seen by a doctor at all. There was another example of a friend of ours who was sitting in the ER with blood dripping out of her head, down her face and down her chin. And she was there 8 or 9 hours and still not seen. She just went home. The blood dried on her head.
Wow.
So you're not even really seen in the emergency room. I've heard so many stories of people paying through the nose, which is just ridiculous sums of money in especially the US right now. There was one guy who had a premature baby. The baby was born at 22 weeks, and they paid a total of 1.8 million US dollars to see that baby through that period in the what's it called, the NICU. So it's in a incubation machine. So we're talking about stupid amounts of money that you have to spend in the Western world to get treated, to get sorted out. And we've had a baby here in China as well, and it was a far better experience. Hand on heart, it was a much better experience than in my own hometown, Brisbane, Australia, which has great, hospitals, but it's just the service isn't there. The cost you spend is just ridiculous. And here, we just had such a great experience. Really wonderful nurses, very highly competent, professional people here. Even the obstetrician gynecologist, when we sit down and we talk about the birthing process and the baby and how it's going in the belly, man, I'm a question asker. I love to sit there and learn and understand the risks and everything. So we would sit together for an hour with this obstetrician gynecologist. He wouldn't rush me out the door. I'd be rushed out the door in Australia after 15 minutes. This woman, again, I respect and I admire them for their profession, but their service is just not there. She'd rush me out the door. You can tell she's had too many coffees that morning. Quickly, stop asking questions. Hop out of here, pay me my money. So it's just night and day. That particular experience, I got a fishbone stuck in my throat. We went to the local hospital, and I think I was in the wrong area. I ended up in a pediatric area. So I'm in the wrong area, but she said, just don't worry, come in. What's wrong? And I said, I think I got a fishbone stuck in my throat. And she was like, yep, no problem. Dude, she was speaking English again, mind blown. How do I just keep getting these English speaking amazing people? She took me a few doors down to get an endoscopy, put a camera down my throat. And I'm like, and she stuck it through my nose. So I was a bit shocked. That wasn't very pleasant, but it was quick. It was quick. And, it was a bit uncomfortable down my nose. I think it was 30 or 40 minutes I was there in total, and 300 RMB. And they were like, we checked it. There's nothing there. It must have been, a scratch from a previous bone. Maybe it's gone down. Don't be alarmed, basically. And we went all the way to the base of the stomach. There's nothing there. So don't be alarmed. Don't freak out. If you have any other issues, you can call us. And she let me film as well, which is another thing. In the US or Australia, there's no way they'd let you film. I asked consent. I said, is it all right if she goes, yeah, sure, no problem. So there's so many things about that experience, super fast, super affordable, super professional, speaks English, and let me film. No problem.
Wow, that's just an amazing story. Also, I never want to have a fishbone incident because I don't want something stuck in my nose. That sounds terrifying, honestly. Camera. Okay.
Rent in Australia represents 50% of your income that you have to spend every month. Here, what if it's 20%? We're talking about affordability that's 4 and 5 times better overall. And then you have this disposable income that it's hard to experience in the Western world because we have a high tax rate in Australia as well. We have huge tax on everything as well as your income. So you're kind of disincentivized to be hardworking and really push hard in the Western world at the moment. People are feeling really unmotivated, really discouraged. Where if you can come and see a city or a country like this, and all of a sudden you feel, hey, I feel really genuinely rewarded for my work here. You feel just happy about life in general. So, not only that, but you've got let's say a meal. So say, for example, the typical meal in Australia, this is 3 years ago. I've been living in China for 3 years now. Say I paid 20 Australian dollars and $5 for a drink, right? That's 25 Australian dollars, which is about 120 RMB. Here in China, I wouldn't pay more than, say, 25 RMB. So we're talking about 5 times less for food as well when you go out. So that's the biggest thing is food and rent. It's just another planet.
I have a friend. His name is Kenny. He's an influencer on Xiaohongshu also. I think he's also on TikTok. His online name is Kenny Wow. He lives in a 5th tier city north of here and out north of where I am in Beijing. And he talks about the fact that he goes out 3 meals a day. Every day, 7 days a week, because he doesn't like to cook. He doesn't want to cook and he doesn't have to. And he's, what he pays in a day is 50 RMB a day to eat all 3 meals out. That's $8, $9. So this guy spends, I don't know, $70 a week eating every single meal out. And, in the United States, I just went back this year, $70 is 4 or 5 people going out once. So it's really dramatic. It's really amazing how affordable, not everything's like that. When my wife and I go out for sushi in the mall near my home in Beijing, we pay 140 RMB, which is $20, but that's expensive actually for 2 people. So that's still almost unheard of in the US.